Okay, we're going to try this again. I am super irritated with my computer right now, and it's all issues that have come up since this Windows upgrade. I recorded this entire video using my camera on my computer, and then I went to go edit it, and the damn thing wouldn't cross over to Movie Maker. So now we are trying this again using my webcam through Movie Maker. It better work this time. I'm out of town, and when I'm out of town, one of the things that I like to do is go to bookstores that are not available to me where I'm from. And typically I fail on that because Barnes & Noble is literally right up the street from where my stepmother lives, and so I end up going there. But this time my hands are ashy. I actually went to two stores that are not close to me. They're not even in my city anymore. One isn't in my city anymore. One's in my state, but not my city. The other's not in my state at all. And the closest one to me would be either here, which I didn't know it existed here until a few months ago, or further up north, I think in the Philly, DC, Jersey area, or Delaware, in one of those states. Either way, it's well over ways away. And so when I come here, I try to do some things that are easier to do here because I'm already coming to visit family. So yesterday I went to Books A Million, and there's a Books A Million in my state, but all of the Books A Millions in my city are closed. We had 3, and now there are none. And now all that I'm left with in my city is Barnes & Noble. And so I go because I like going to bookstores, but I really don't care for the Barnes & Noble experience. It's not the best. But anyway, at Books A Million, I got 2 books, but really there were 4, because the first book that I got is 3 books in one, and this is The Inheritance Trilogy by N.K. Jemisin. I have been looking for, or becoming more diligent in the fact that I need to find books by African American science fiction authors to read, because you all can't even see my other hand over here going as I'm talking, because I am almost finished reading Octavia Butler. I have 4 books left to read by Octavia Butler, and then once those books are finished, those novels, the other 2 that I have to read are 2 short story collections of hers. But once those 4 novels are finished, I don't have anything else by her. So I need to get more serious about finding another African American author who does science fiction. And so I went ahead, when I saw this for the price, and that it's 3 novels in one, because this is the entire Inheritance Trilogy, I said I couldn't leave it. And actually this is very funny because 2 of the Octavia Butler series that I own are bind ups. So the Lilith's Brood bind up, and then the Pattern Master bind up. So that's 7 books of Octavia Butler's that I own that are bind ups. So, but yeah, I went ahead and picked this up. And I also got Volume 2 of Lumberjanes. If you all remember, I got this, and I got Volume 1 in June of this year with the Book Riot surprise box that they did. So yeah, I went ahead and picked up Volume 2 because I really did enjoy Volume 1, and I want to see what happens next. So I'm going to continue with the story. Then I went to the store that I was most excited about getting to, and that was Second and Charles, because there isn't one in my state. There's not one in my city, duh, since there's not one in my state, and there's not one that's close to me. So to have found one that is really within 15 minutes or 20 minutes of some of my family, and to be able to go and have that experience, I've been looking forward to having that for quite some time. So I went today, and I did trade in a few books. I can't remember exactly what books I traded in, but yeah, anyway. For the books that I got, it's good news. The first book that I'm so excited that they had was The Long Way from Home by Connie Briscoe. I have been looking for this book for years. I purchased this book No. I read this book twice from the library, and I loved it so much that I said I really needed to get my own copy. And after making that decision, it just became so difficult to find the novel to purchase, and I wanted it in hardback because I love this cover. And so when I found it, it really made the entire trip worthwhile. And I almost missed it because it was on the clearance section, and I almost missed the entire clearance section because it was butted up against the mystery section, and I'm not that into mysteries, so I almost missed it. But I'm glad that I saw it, and I'm glad I saw this one because they had another one that was not in the clearance section, but the dust jacket was ripped. And this one, the dust jacket, is in perfect condition. If you are not familiar with this story, hold on just a moment. A Long Way from Home recounts the joys, pain, and ultimate triumph of 3 generations: Susie, her daughter Clara, and her granddaughter Susan. Born and reared as house slaves in Montpelier, the Virginia plantation of President James Madison and his wife Dolly Madison, they are united by love, by a fierce devotion to each other and their fellow slaves, and by a growing desire for freedom, a dream that will finally come to fruition for Susan at the end of the Civil War. This hauntingly beautiful novel opens in the peaceful Piedmont area of Virginia. Trained as a house slave since childhood, Susie enjoys the privileges that her position as maid to Miss Dolly provides her and Clara. For Susie, life holds no mystery, no promise beyond the boundaries of the plantation itself. A lesson she tries to impart to the dreamy Clara, who longs to control her own destiny despite her mother's frightening admonition, "You don't know a thing about freedom," because I don't know anything about it. It takes money and know-how to live free. You don't just up and do it. Life will change for both mother and daughter, though, with the death of James Madison and the departure of his wife for her townhouse, events that leave the estate in the hands of Dolly's profligate son, Todd. As a result of his neglectful stewardship, the plantation soon falls into a series of owners, each posing a new threat to Susie and Clara and their longtime Madison slaves, with whom the 2 women have shared their entire lives. Amidst these devastating changes, Clara grows into womanhood and becomes a mother herself, giving birth to 2 light-skinned daughters, Ellen and Susan. Yet the threat of separation that has shaped her life is soon a reality when her younger daughter Susan is sold to a wealthy businessman in Richmond. Susan must create a new life for herself in this bustling city, a life that will be filled with both terror and hope. And it is in Civil War-torn Richmond that she will find love and realize the long-held dream of her ancestors, freedom. And I just can't tell you how great this novel was for me both times that I read it. And I'm so excited that now I have this in my own possession. Yay. Next, I picked up Blues Dancing by Diane McKinney Whetstone. I have read 4 books by Diane McKinney Whetstone, and I have not read this, and so I wanted to get something by her that I hadn't yet read so that I can have a novel of hers on my shelf, because she's an author that I really enjoy, and I'm not looking to purchase all of the books that I've read by her, but I do want her on my personal library shelf. And so when I saw this for the whopping price of $6.50, but I actually ended up not paying anything for this book because I had a credit, and so I didn't pay anything for this book and A Long Way from Home. I also picked up The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. The sticker is covering his name. I've heard many things about this novel. Everyone that I've talked to or have watched on YouTube who've read it have had pretty decent things to say about it, and I put it on hold at the library a while ago, and then I think I took the hold off because I had a buttload of books to come in at one time, and I never went back to put it back on hold. So I went ahead and picked it up, and the synopsis for this is short. Barcelona, 1945. A city slowly heals from its war wounds, and Daniel, an antiquarian book dealer's son who mourns the loss of his mother, finds solace in a mysterious book entitled The Shadow of the Wind by one Julian Carrats. But when he sets out to find the author's other works, he makes a shocking discovery. Someone has been systematically destroying every copy of every book Carax has written. In fact, Daniel may have the last of Carax's books in existence. Soon, Daniel's seemingly innocent quest opens a door into one of Barcelona's darkest secrets, an epic story of murder, madness, and doomed love. So, yes, I went ahead and picked this up so I have my own copy to read and enjoy at my leisure. Then I picked up The Visitation by Frank Peretti. I read 3 novels by Frank Peretti a few years ago, Piercing the Darkness, This Present Darkness, and Prophet, or The Prophet. And Piercing the Darkness and This Present Darkness were duologies that were faith-based, not necessarily faith-based, but dealing with the faith community and angels and demons fighting each other to protect those who are believers. And I really enjoyed the novel, and so after reading all 3 of them, and The Prophet was good, but it was marketed as a part of a trilogy with the Darkness books, and it was not part of that at all. But it was still good, still enjoyable. But I wanted to read another book by Frank Peretti that was set in that faith kind of atmosphere, because I just really enjoyed how he portrayed that, and it just really worked for me. So when I saw this, and they had a few of his novels, but this is the one that when I read the synopsis, it really stood out to me over the other ones. And one of the synopses that I read, it was not faith-based. My bad for the shaking of the camera. I'm on my webcam, like I said earlier, so as I move and do gestures, which I normally do, the shit shakes. My bad. Here's the synopsis. The sleepy eastern Washington wheat town of Antioch has suddenly become a gateway for the supernatural, from sightings of angels and messianic images to a weeping crucifix. Then a self-proclaimed prophet mysteriously appears with an astounding message. The national media and the curious flock to the little town, a great boon for local business, but not for Travis Jordan. The burned-out former pastor has been trying to hide his past in Antioch. Now the whole world is headed to his backyard to find the Messiah, and in the process, every spiritual assumption he has ever held will be challenged. A startling secret behind this visitation ultimately pushes one man into a supernatural confrontation that will forever alter the lives of everyone involved. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to this, because of the 3 novels that I've read by this author thus far, I was not disappointed. So, yeah, good things. Finally, I picked up Labyrinth by Kate Mosse. I'm assuming that's how you say her name, Mosse. I don't know anything about this. I just read the back of it and it sounded interesting, so I picked it up. July 2005. In the Pyrenees Mountains near Carcassonne, Alice, a volunteer at an archaeological dig, stumbles into a cave and makes a startling discovery. 2 crumbling skeletons, strange writing on the walls, and the pattern of a labyrinth. 800 years earlier, on the eve of a brutal crusade that will rip apart southern France, a young woman named Elias is given a ring and a mysterious book for safekeeping by her father. The book, he says, contains the secret of the true Grail, and the ring, inscribed with the labyrinth, will identify a guardian of the Grail. Now, as crusading armies gather together outside the city walls of Carcassonne, it will take a tremendous sacrifice to keep the secret of the labyrinth safe. And this sounded to me like somewhat like The Lake of No Return. I think that's what it's called. I haven't read it yet. I don't know if that's what's going to happen or not, but I went ahead and picked it up for $2. What do you have to lose other than $2? So that is all that I have gotten thus far while I'm here. I think that's all that I'm going to get, because that was more than I intended to get. And I hope you all have a good weekend. Whenever you see this video, thank you for watching, and peace out.